So this would be a good energy clearing to do.
Okay, connecting for the people listening. Those karmic relationship ties that you have. The block here is constantly feeling different. And there's a belief attached to it that is, I don't belong anywhere, I'm an outsider. Clear any energy. We clear energy for the entire audience. Okay. Is there another past life karmic cycle that wants to be cleared right now?
Oh my God, I want to cry.
Any more here? There's still more, okay.
Trust flow, surrender, let go. Yeah. Trust flow, surrender, let go. I'm the one I've been waiting for. Trust flow, surrender, let go. Trust flow, surrender, let go. Trust flow, surrender, let go. I'm the one I've been waiting for.
Welcome back to the High Self Podcast. My name is Sahar Rose, and on this podcast, I love to talk about spirituality, matters of the heart, but make it modern, grounded, fun, and relatable so it can actually serve your needs. So a few months ago here on this podcast, we had my dear friend Frank here. And in the episode, I channeled you guys because we can tap into people's consciousness that are not there. And there's a specific texture of consciousness that I know are the people who resonate with my podcast. And I'll be speaking more into who these people are. And because you're here, you're one of them. And so because I know you and your soul, and it's a reflection of my own, and that's why we're connecting, I channeled you guys, and Frank did an energy clearing, and thousands of you shared that you had the most insane out-of-body experiences. In fact, my brother's fiancé, who's not super deep into spirituality, she's interested, she listened to it, and she had a full experience while she was cleaning her room. All of a sudden, it went into the clearing. She was like, what just happened? And it's like, it's moments like that you realize, wow, we really are tapping into something else, something that's real. And sometimes, especially in spirituality, we can second guess ourselves, wonder if, we're just making this up, what's real, what's not. And look, that's a deep conversation to have, and maybe that's where we're going to go. But when we can feel into collective consciousness and feel the ripple effects that it makes us see how deeply interconnected we all are. So even though you right now are watching this in a different calendar time, we are in a space-time continuum together right now, that you are connecting with me and I'm connecting with you. So I just want to honor you so much for being here. So I'm at home about to also get into this episode with you, but I noticed that over 50% of you are not yet subscribed on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you're listening to this podcast. And if there's one thing you can do to support me in this podcast and help continue to make it free, it's just to hit subscribe. Plus, I'll keep the podcast coming so you don't have to wait till you see a reel on social media to find us again. So just hit subscribe and let's get into this episode. And without further ado, let's welcome incredible energy healer and my dear friend, Frank Elaridi, back on High Self Podcast.
Hey, Sahara, thank you. Wow. You really did channel them last time.
It was crazy because I didn't know we would do the energy clearing, and I rewatched and it was so potent and so real. And I was feeling those physical shifts that I was feeling in that moment of time, even months later for me rewatching it. And, sometimes even I question those things. Like, there's healers that are like, I don't even need to see your picture, I'll energy heal you. I'm like, there's no way, I'm such a physical person. But even witnessing that happen, I was like, okay, so much of what we think needs to be tangible and physical is actually really all energetic.
For sure. And it's definitely beyond time and space. And that's what was so cool about doing that, is reading the comments months later, and I was like, somebody right now is feeling an allergy to being a victim, right? And they were like, I wrote today on my fridge, I am not a victim, And it was just wild, because it really doesn't matter. So even people listening to this, if they go back and watch the first one, that was meant for them. And it's so weird that we're saying this, because I said today on another podcast this morning, and I was telling him, I said, when you connect with a healer, that's not an accident. Even people that I go to, beyond time and space, we were meant to, in this time, meet with them because people will think and they'll say, well, if somebody's doing miracles, for example, I had a woman come to me last week, 6 sessions, it was her last session, and she's testing negative of thyroid cancer. And she's a pharmacist, so she refused. She's like, I've seen the system, I'm not doing any of those treatments. And so she just did energy healing, and she's very conservative Christian, had to ask somebody at church if they thought it was okay to work with me. But that was part of her karmic path, that we would connect and that she would do this. Because people will say, well, if miracles are happening, why doesn't everybody go to them? That's not their path. They're not meant to.
I love that. And a conversation you and I always have when we're voice noting each other is around miracles versus manifestation, and how miracles are something that is surrendering to the divine. But what we commonly know of as manifestation is trying to force or will something into reality that is often going against the grain. And there's a lot of nuance to this conversation. So what is your take on manifestation?
You know what's crazy too? We did our last one in Dubai, and that was in January, so 9 months ago. And already, like, I feel like I'm a whole new person, because if you asked me then about manifestation, I would have just shot it down immediately. Now, it's not that I shoot it down. I'm like, you know what? We are powerful. The mind is so powerful and it can create. What happens though is, like, because I've been in my little cocoon for like 2 months now of, I'm always in a cocoon, but it's been like no phone calls. I haven't taken a single phone call, no watching anything, not a YouTube video, not a podcast, not like, I'm just fully I'm like, if it's not direct knowledge, direct wisdom, I don't want it. I don't want borrowed knowledge that I read in a book and I'm regurgitating. I want to know it. And so since I started doing that, my guides, the same ones that work with me when I'm clearing, have been waking me up. It'll be like 3 a.m. and they're like, tell me right now, who's breathing? And I'll be like, I'm breathing. Who's I? The body, and then I try to make it spiritual. The mind tries to make you so spiritual. And I'd be like, but it's really my consciousness that's making the body breathe. And they're like, no, wrong. Stop trying to identify so much with the body. It's doing it automatically. You have nothing to do with it. When it stops, you continue. The witness is always there, right? So they've been telling me these things, and one of them was manifesting. And I woke up from a dream, and they were like, just like you had 10 dreams tonight, it's the same thing with your spirit. You could have 1,000 lifetimes. For it, it's like a night of sleep. 1,000 lifetimes is like one night of sleep for your soul. It's like just like that, like foam in the ocean, and then it dissolves. It's like nothing. And so they're like, so who cares? Like, yeah, you can manifest, but who cares? Like, whatever you manifest, it's so fleeting and so temporary. And so that's where I am now, where I'm like, it's not that I'm against manifesting or that it's not possible. I don't know if you know, it was the number one word in the dictionary last year.
Manifest.
That means it was the most used word. And you see it because all of a sudden all these spiritual teachers like have shifted their entire focus on like manifesting.
And that to me is where I always have my alarm bells go off when something becomes a trend and it becomes like over and commercially used. So I do believe 100% we can create a reality. There are things that I've thought of that have happened that make no sense, but they weren't ultimately the highest or most important things of my life. Like, for example, this is a funny story. I can't really want to say it right now on the podcast. But we're just going to say it. After my divorce, I was like, I'm manifesting to meet Chris Brown and Miguel.
Ooh, I like that.
I was like, that is who I'm manifesting for this next era of mine. Of course, they're famous singers, Chris Brown and Miguel, as I was laughing.
Chris Brown was my first concert ever.
I'm going to his concert on Saturday.
Oh my God.
Pray for me. Hope he brings me on stage. So anyways, that sounds crazy. How am I going to manifest these two giant pop stars? I'm in Bali at this time, like in my healing. This was like weeks after, like 1 month, I think, after the divorce. And through a friend, I went to dinner at Zest, this like vegan restaurant. He was like, oh, it's a friend of our yogi friends. There was one guy there who was a DJ who was coming in from out of state. And we just got along as friends. We exchanged contacts. That's it. Then I had to come back to LA because I had a mastermind I was running. And so I came back to LA, and then he happened to be in LA at the same time. We saw each other's Instagram stories, and he's like, oh, if you want to come with me, I'm going to this rollerblading party tonight. And I was like, oh, that sounds fun. He's like, oh yeah, it's like related to the Grammys because it's Grammys weekend. I was like, cool. So I got ready. He was part of a table, and guess who was the table next to us? Chris Brown. No, Chris Brown. Chris Brown. And he was like rollerblading, and God, he is so cute in person. But we didn't talk, but it was like spirit being like, you want to manifest Chris Brown? You can manifest Chris Brown. You're not going to have a conversation with him because like, that Willow girl, that model, like all these celebrities were around him. So it was like, but it was still cool. The next day we had fun. He's like, oh, if you want to come with me to this other Grammys party, it's Diplo's party. I was like, who am I going to Diplo's party now? Sure, I'll come. I went and I became friends with one of his girlfriends. And so her and I were just talking. She's very spiritual. We're going into all these rabbit holes. We're like not talking to anyone at the party. And we didn't like the party. It wasn't fun like the rollerblading one. We were there for maybe 3-4 hours at this point. It was like 1 a.m. at this point. I was about to leave. And that was the night of the Grammys. And who comes in?
Miguel.
Miguel.
Oh my God.
I manifested both of them in one weekend.
But see, that is kind of cool too, because it's still like a wink and a nod. And you're
It was
like,
a
wow,
wink and a nod.
You know, but for me, that's just like more of, okay, waking up to the illusion that this is a dream. Just like in a dream, right? You'll think of something and then all of a sudden they're walking down the hall, but then the dream continues. You're still at the hospital or whatever, you know?
Yeah, and exactly. It's like, oh, great. I'm manifesting them to Miguel. I was like, oh, I'm such a fan of your music. Congrats on winning the Grammy. That's it. Conversation closed. Did it change my life? Did they become my boyfriends? None of that, you know? But it showed me, it was like God being like, yes, your thoughts become reality, but like, what do you really want?
Yeah.
But then there was a time that there was someone I had a crush on that I really liked. And I was, you know, normally I don't really need to try so hard with manifesting things. It's just serendipitously happens. With this person, I was like, I'm going to do the rituals of this, of that. I did not even end up meeting him in real life.
Oh, wow.
It did not work whatsoever.
And it's because you were trying so hard.
It's because it wasn't meant to be.
Interesting. Yeah, but the other one was kind of more effortless.
I think because it wasn't like me seeing them at a party isn't like a deterrent on my path. So God's like, okay, fine. Whereas being in a relationship with someone is, and I think those things are a lot more karmic and like soul contract like that. That's why these videos of manifest this person, I don't think will ever work for you. And then even if you do, you might manifest being in a relationship with your list, but there's always going to be holes in it. And it's always going to be the things you didn't think about or the reasons why they don't work.
It's so true. And then like all the time wasted.
Yeah. And then why don't we just let God show us?
Yeah.
Why don't we just raise our vibration and commit to truth and commit to, you know, transmuting what's holding us back? And then to me, we open up new timelines of people that we can be with, people that we didn't even know existed before, like levels of consciousness. And it's like, oh, because you weren't at that level of the video game yet. You needed to heal this and release that and purge that and surrender into that and have this much silence for you to even, like you and I, we were in the same circle of friends. We did not know each other until we were ready to know each other. Yeah. And it was like, okay, you guys are meant to meet. But you can't, it's like there's so much timing in all of that. And I feel like with manifestation, you're not honoring divine timing. You're not honoring the cycles and seasons of life. And you're not also co-creating with the universe. You're saying, I'm more intelligent than the universe. I know what's right. Instead, the best things in my life I could have never planned and predicted. So show me what else. Imagine this is the year you finally start your podcast, because let's be real, you're having so many incredible conversations with people that you're like, damn, I wish that was recorded. That could have helped someone. And it's time to finally do that and hit publish and let your voice be heard so it can make the impact that you are here to make. I would have never guessed in 2017 when I started this podcast, what it would become. 55 million downloads later, my best friends made my deepest sense of purpose. This podcast is the most favorite thing I do, beyond any traveling, beyond any business. Like, this is the thing that gives me life. And it has led to me traveling, and it has led to six-figure business, and it has led to books and memberships and courses and so much more. There is nothing more powerful than long form content, because the thing about Instagram is like someone might watch your reel and then a second later it's gone. But with the podcast, people are really listening. They're present with you. They're understanding you. And you also get to have conversations with the people that you would want to be mentored by. Like every single week, I'm blown away by the thought leaders and experts and coaches that I get to have on my podcast, and you can too. So many people have asked me for a podcast mentorship where I personally guide you in a small group, max 10 people, on how to start your podcast, what to name it, what the thumbnail graphic should be, what type of interviews or solo casts you're going to be putting out, the description of your podcast, and so much more. So this is my first ever 6-week mentorship, capped at only 10 people, where I will personally be on Zoom every single week with you for 90 minutes every week. Plus you can email me the thumbnail pictures, all the things you want me to review. So you're going to be able to hit the ground running with the clarity that you need to get your podcast off the ground and out into the world this year. So head over to my show notes. It's the very first link there. If you're interested, you're curious, you want to get started, it's available for the first 10 people only. But if you're listening to this later on, I'll have a wait list open, and I can't wait to support you in the mentorship.
You just hit on something that is actually, I think I've seen with all my clients, like the root cause of everything, which is the sense of separation. And that happens because like this ego self gets afraid of like, well, what if the universe doesn't have my back? Or what if I'm not God? What if I'm not that goddess or God consciousness? And so I need to start building and preparing. So it starts doing and thinking and planning. And then you realize you're 80 years old and you've just spent your whole life planning, not being. But everything you've planned, even when you got it, you were planning still. So you didn't actually even reap any of it. You didn't live. You know, and that's why like people realize on their deathbed, like, I didn't live. Don't wait. Like, realize it now.
So I'm curious your thoughts. Do we have free will, or is this all destiny? We're going there.
Ooh. It's probably like the deepest seeker's question, which is
It's
why
my
you asked
everyday.
it, right?
Yep.
And that's like why we talked about this in a voice note where you're like, I think about this all the time. And I think it's because you're a deep seeker. Because deep seekers are like really wanting to know the answer to that. My belief, and I've gone back and forth, I've argued tooth and nail with Sadhguru, with Sri Sri Ravi Shankar. Like, I'm like, no, it's like this, you know? And I realize now, I think I realize now that there is no free will. Other than everything is predestined except you decide when you're going to wake up. I don't judge it either. If you're having so much fun and you just want to get wasted and do whatever, like do that. You have an infinite amount of lifetimes to decide you're ready. And what I love about a course, like, I don't know if you know A Course in Miracles, my favorite thing, the opening line goes, "Welcome to A Course in Miracles. This is a required course. Your choice is when you take it." Like, this is the path you'll eventually have to take. Not necessarily A Course in Miracles, but like this path. You get to decide when.
And that's like every initiatory path.
Right.
It's like you get to either choose the initiation or the initiation will choose you.
Yeah.
You're going to choose to go into the darkness, or the darkness is going to find you through a person, through something that's completely out of your control. And it's going to have to be a lot more intense because that's the level of breakdown you needed to finally listen. Whereas when we choose to put ourselves in, weeks of silence with no interaction with people, like, and that sounds extreme, but it's like, think about all the karma you transmuted just from doing that.
Yeah.
All of the situations you didn't have to play out. And that's why I feel so many more people need to spend time alone, because it's like we can heal things within ourselves and we then don't have to play out in relationship, in friendship, in work, because we're healing that within ourselves. So I, like you, at a certain point believed there was no free will. Like, of course, I grew up thinking everything is free will. And then through sitting with the medicine actually really made me feel like, wow, the certain dances I needed to dance needed to happen. And there could have been no other way. And I feel it gave me a huge feeling of acceptance around my path of it had to be this. But then I can't continue to genuinely only believe that, because that means then every single other thing in my life is already pre-planned, including me forgetting, including me doing dances with more darkness. Like, then what is the point of healing? What is the point of growing if I'm not actually able to integrate all of it? And the deeper question, what is the point of life if everything is predestined and predetermined? Why is God, source consciousness, having this experience if every single one of our moves is played out? That's not even fun for the creator to witness.
But I think that's the separation. I think the mind creates all those things. I think creator wants to experience itself just as like Garden of Eden, like experience myself. But then the mind comes in, and I actually had this realization in the very first week. I don't know if this totally resonates, but in the very first week of my silence, and I'm just like laying in bed, I have this like almost ecstatic experience where it was so intense, I had to like go to bed. You know what I mean? Just like be under the covers. But when I came out of it, I'm looking at my door, just the door. And there was like, like a light coming through the door, the like crack of the door. And just from being so fixated on that crack in the door, all of a sudden I saw, wow, I've never even noticed a door, a simple door before, a plain white door, how there's a knob. It fits perfectly in the walls, like that they created this, rectangle, right? Great design. Yeah. Brilliant. I couldn't have done it. Like the screws are like, it opens and closes. I'm like, do you know what we would have done in our caveman years, knowing that we had something to cover our cave like that? There would have been a massive breakthrough. And I thought, so, okay, the mind really came in handy for us. It did so much. It built a lot. But at the same time, that same mind said, I am somebody. I am this. And it created such a distortion. So while it created a comfortable life to live in, it also created a very distorted life. And that's where the separation occurred. And that's why, like you're saying, you're like, what's the point? Why would I heal and then not heal? It's because the mind is the cause of all that forgetting, the cause of all that sucking you back in, getting you back into the turmoil. And that's why I always go back to like moksha, liberation, go back to that, because then it's not like leave the world, be in it, but fully detached. No preference to this or that. Like my background originally is Druze, Druze, for people who don't know, very mystical. Like I don't even know, because I'm not initiated. I know like surface level stuff that I'm allowed to know. But I do know that the number one thing in their pillars is impartiality, being impartial. Nothing is great, nothing is bad, nothing. You're just like impartial to everything. You end up in jail, okay, this is where I am. You're in a castle, this is where I am now. We were in Dubai in total luxury. Now we're in Venice. There's like, like riffraff and like graffiti everywhere and whatever. But it's like, cool, this is where I am now. There's beauty in both.
So many things I want to touch on. Let's go back to the free will destiny. So if everything is predestined, then wasn't it destined for the mind to create all of the wars and issues? Wasn't that all then there's no problem with it?
That's literally what Hassan said to me the other day, the guy that he met. So he literally said the same thing to me. And I don't know the answer. And I don't like to, if it's borrowed knowledge, I don't want to say, right? Like I only say what I know. But what I do know within that, I think, is that creator, whether it's God, goddess, whatever, creator, does not interfere, especially in a dream. It's like one thing that I learned from another teacher that was so powerful is when I was trying to get really silent. I'm talking 15 years ago, really get silent, meditate, and I was trying to shut off the mind. And this Kundalini yoga teacher said, don't argue with the ego. Don't try to stop it, because then you're making it real. It's not a real thing. Your mind created it. It's not real. That's what you're transcending. But when you fight with it, you're making it real. And I see the creator as that, of like watching us dream, and is like, I'm not going to interfere in your dream, because I don't even acknowledge your dream. It's not real. I love you and I'm waiting for you. When you wake up, I'll be here.
Okay. I'll riff on this, and I'm going to take more of the perspective, and I agree, and I see everything you're saying, and I'm going to take the perspective of what I can feel our listeners are thinking right now. Yeah. So if we just don't think about our problems at all, we're like, mind, you're just creating riffraff. I'm not going to think about them. How do we actually heal? How do we actually learn from our experiences? How do we actually go deeper if the moment we start thinking the thought or feeling the feeling, we turn it off and just go into silence?
Come to me. I'll take care of it. No, I'm just kidding. No, really. It's actually, I'm saying the opposite. I'm saying, no, do something about it. But what that is not ignore it. It's watch it. So in those 6 weeks, I wasn't just like, oh, spiritual bypassing. I was like, I'm going to look at it. And every thought that would come up, I would just like watch it. But I wouldn't go down its rabbit hole that it was trying to take me down. I'm just watching it. To me, I need to contemplate it. Like let's say I feel a little anxious or something. If I'm just like, oh, anxiety, which I know is the meditative path. It's like, okay, I could maybe the thought will go away and then I'll feel fine. But eventually that thing swings back. You just watch it though.
But I feel going into it actually helps me see the root of it.
But what is that part of you that's doing that? It's your mind still. It's analyzing it. It's so at that point, it's like therapy. Because you're watching it. And that's from me when I was 9.
I don't see why that's a bad thing.
I don't think it's bad. I think it's still within illusion, still within, like you're making it real. You're giving it life. Rather than just because here's the thing. When I have watched it, so I'm only speaking this from the experience of the last 6 weeks, watch it, it goes away. It doesn't circle back when I'm really looking at it.
But the root cause of it won't go away. So let's say I went through a breakup and I'm feeling sad. And then so every time the sadness comes, I watch thought and I'm like, I am not that. I am not sadness. And then maybe for a moment of time, the sadness goes away. But really until I get to for me, the root of like actually feeling that sadness, going back to my inner child, going into even my ancestry, maybe I solve things by making peace with knowing them, that for me to not question it feels like I'm bypassing it. And for me to actually be like, exhale, I've made peace with this in my life, is like I've actually followed that thread down to the bottom.
But I actually think that a lot of this is sort of saying the same thing.
Okay.
Because I think it's that, and maybe people have a preference of how they do it and that works for them. But I think it ends up being the same thing, because if you're watching it, right, and you're following that thread, what I'm just saying is like, be aware of it and don't follow it down its rabbit hole, which I don't think you're doing, of like, if it starts to telling you, okay, you lost your job, you're unemployable, you're worthless.
Yes.
Like, don't follow down that. Just be like, oh, interesting. That's happening. You watch it, that this, and then realizing like, or not even realizing, you have to be consciously aware of like, that's not me though. I'm not the one having that thought. Who's having it? Watch the thought. So you're the witness, but you're not believing like, this is my story, this is me. That's my thing. So yeah, follow it of like,
I see what you mean of like, let's say the thought is, I'm sad because I'm going to be alone forever and no one's ever going to love me. Don't believe that thought because that's not true.
and don't follow
That's
it down the rabbit hole that it's
of
going
like-
to take you down.
Exactly. But instead it's like, I'm feeling really unloved. And what it feels like for me is that I'm going to be alone forever. And like giving yourself a moment to just like pause with that and feel that. And then I find once you give it that like mic that it needs, then it naturally starts to transmute, but it like needed a second to be heard for me, then like to kind of be like, you're not true. It's like, to me, it gets louder then.
Oh, for sure. Because that's what I said earlier. It's like you're now triggering the ego of being like, oh, you're fighting with it. You're making it more real and it's going to retaliate.
Yeah.
So I don't even think saying like, this is not true.
What I do is I make peace with that. Okay, I feel sad because I might be alone forever. Okay, let's say I'm alone forever.
Yeah.
Let's say that's it. Okay, I'll travel, I'll have pets, I'll, do all these incredible things I'm already doing. I'll just continue to live the life that I have now. Is that so bad?
Yeah, I think that like we're actually saying the same thing, but I like how you say it because I think more people will relate to that. The only thing I would clarify is like, because you'll be like, oh, I'm sad. Why am I feeling sad? I would just be like, it's so weird because I see me as like not me. So when I look in the mirror or anything, I'm like, oh, he's feeling sad. It's such a weird thing, but I'll give him that. Like I let him feel what he feels. So I love that. Like don't sweep it under the rug because that's when you need ayahuasca to bring it all back out from under the rug. Eventually you have to look at it. So just look at it in the moment. But I'm just saying like, don't follow it down that treacherous rabbit hole.
Yes. So this would be a good energy clearing to do. So I will tune into what people feel and I'll see where it takes me. And you can
Okay, so go ahead and
the
start
clearing.
then?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, can I clear for the people listening? Yes. Okay, and this will be beyond time and space like we said. So I set the intention to connect with Sahara Rose and her entire audience today to clear anything which in doing so is for the highest good. I was sent here by Spirit, so I do not have to worry about what to say or what to do because Spirit will guide me. I am content to be wherever you wish, knowing that you go there with me, and I will be healed as I let you teach me to heal. Can I do a clearing for everybody listening now? Okay. Entrepreneurs, suicide, addictions, parents, past life karmic. Okay, we're going to clear one past life karmic cycle that people are repeating. An archetype, spiritual and mental blocks. Okay, there's something else as well that I really like that I do this for all my students in my course that I have called Awaken the Healer Within. And so because they're healers, I want to clear blocks around healing abilities. So there's something there that's coming up too. And then is there anything here as well? Okay, so let's start with past life karmic cycles. Repeating abandonment cycles, money, scarcity, love. Ooh, okay, this is a really good one. There's a cycle of karmic relationship ties. So staying tied with these karmic relationships that we need to just end this. So I'm going to cut these cords with people. Okay, that's good. When I work with people specifically, like one-on-one, there was this woman the other day, I said, you have a karmic tie with a man and it's from age 25 and you created another one at 27. And it was like, she said, that was when I met my ex-husband and when I married him. So for everybody listening, we're just going to clear those karmic relationship ties that you have. My perineum is like throbbing right now. This is my root chakra.
I'm feeling a cloud that's in front of me. It's a cloud of sadness. It's a gray cloud that feels like it's always been with me. And it's the sadness I carry in every relationship that it's never going to work out the way that I want it to. And I already feel let down. And this like fear of love always disappoints.
Ooh, there's another one. And this probably makes sense for your audience. If they're listening to you, it's because they're searching for something. And the block here is constantly feeling different. And there's a belief attached to it that is, I don't belong anywhere. I'm an outsider. Can I clear this for everybody?
Love isn't for me. It works for other people, but I'm too complex for it.
We'll clear that as well.
No one will ever really get me.
Oof. Oh my God. Waves of chills as you said that. That means there's definitely people feeling exactly what you said. Did we clear this as well? Good. Did we clear the constantly feeling different? Is there another past life karmic cycle that wants to be cleared right now? There's still more. Okay. Fear of success. Self-sabotaging behaviors. Aversion, spirituality, addiction patterns, power struggles, power struggles. Feeling the need to fight for control.
If I lose control, I lose everything.
That's definitely like the pillar of the ego's belief too.
I have to make it into the relationship I want, otherwise it won't be. I have to be the one in control. I have to be the one to steer the ship, otherwise who else will?
Clear.
And it will end up somewhere I don't want it to be, like my parents, just like it didn't work out for my mom.
Yes, oof, we clear that. I'm getting chills on
Oh
my
my God,
back.
I want to cry.
Any more here? Religious dogma. Okay, there's also a
Love
block.
wasn't real for her. Why would it be real for me? I have to make it happen.
Karmic punishment for misuse. Can we clear this? There's a belief that if people start doing healing work, that it's a karmic misuse and that they'll be punished for it. Karmic punishment for misuse.
Just like I've always been the outcast in my family, I've already been punished for it my whole life.
Did we clear this as well? Should we stay here? Go beyond emotions?
I don't want to be an outsider anymore.
Can we clear any energy? Can we clear energy for the entire audience? Okay, good. We're gonna
Where are my people?
cause post-traumatic offensive.
Where are the people I was promised from being myself?
There's a programmed belief too that everybody is sharing that we're going to clear. A belief that's been conditioned. Good. This is too much. That's the belief, the program that this is too much.
Everything just feels like too much. Life has felt so heavy.
Clear this from everybody. If we continue to clear, good.
I feel like a darkness and a debris that's coming out of me.
Need to know more. Can we clear this? Shame. Shame is coming up. We're going to clear shame as well. I feel like we knew this was going to come up too. Shame was the root cause for me, the root cause of everything. And Spirit told me when I clear it, actually a really powerful healer told me also in New Zealand that when you clear this root cause in you, you'll start finding the root cause in everybody. And that's what happened. Is there another root cause that we can clear from the audience? Energy, okay, good, from all the listeners right now. Okay, post-traumatic, offensive, mental. And this is a mental belief. It's actually a message that we're all broadcasting out. Everybody listening, it's a negative broadcast that you're putting out that people are picking up. They hurt me. They hurt me. Can I clear this? And this is being emitted out. So even when you're walking down the street, people are picking up this signal that they hurt me.
I'm feeling something of I'm ugly and they think I'm ugly.
Clear that. Yes. Let's clear one more thing. It's another mental block. It's a broadcast message. Another message that's being broadcasted out. Make me suffer. Make me suffer. Can I clear this? We're going to clear this. This is going to be really good to clear. Because people are making you suffer and you don't even realize, the people listening, it's because you're putting out the message, make me suffer.
Because I want to grow. I only know how to grow when they make me suffer. Make me suffer so I can get out. I need to suffer to get out. It's the only way I'll get out. I stay until I suffer long enough, hard enough. Because it's all I've seen.
There's an archetype that's being played out. This will be the last thing that people are playing out, this archetype. It's the overachiever, the perfectionist, the control seeker, the rebel, the escapist. And it's, if I keep running, nothing can hurt me. If I keep running. So then what happens is there's an avoiding commitment. The escapist, we're clearing the escapist.
I just want what's best. There's something better out there. There has to be something better out there. My dream must exist somewhere. I have to find it. I have to make it happen. This isn't good enough. I don't want to suffer.
I'm going to do one more, actually, because it just came up. As you were saying that, something else came up. Okay, can I clear this too? Okay, good. And then here it is. No will, no desire to receive abundance. What would that mean if you received abundance? Why do you not want to receive it?
I don't want to be chained to anyone. They try to control me with their money. I don't want to be controlled. I'm free.
To be clear, there's no will to receive abundance.
I won't do it.
That's okay. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, let's end it there. Ooh. Good. You're not just feeling it for yourself, you're feeling it for everybody.
Yeah, a lot here in the upper arms to shoulder area. Super tight. It's an armor that has been worn on for a really long time. So let's just take off the armor. It is safe for me to be. Wow, I'm seeing a lot of the color purple come through when I take this armor off. It's like this purple luminescent light that has always been there, that has never felt safe. It is safe for me to be seen for who I am. And there is no there. I am already and always there.
And abundance doesn't ask any sacrifice of anybody. Sometimes people think they have to sacrifice. Spirit doesn't. Only ego demands sacrifice.
It was a lot. I felt like a containment, like a cage that I was in from what I've seen in my family that I don't want to recreate. So I'm trying to break out of, and I'm very much in resistance to. So I don't want their kind of relationship. I'm going to do the opposite. I want their kind of chained life. I'm going to do the opposite. But this fear that I have no idea what I'm doing, and I'm just going off into this complete unknown, and I'm scared that maybe they had it better than I will because I don't have the things that I want. And so what am I breaking free from? Am I making a mistake because I'm free, but am I happy here?
Everything you're saying, I'm like, I know that feeling so well. So well. And but honestly, like, I know you always make fun of, like, you're like, Frank, you're on the moksha path and that's it. But I always take it back to that because the mind cannot fix anything. So when you're like, am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? The mind created every issue. It's not going to solve any of them. So that's why Spirit, I trust. And if that means I have to end up on an ashram, or if that means I end up in a castle, I trust. That's it. The mind can't fix anything.
Yeah.
It will, even because it's so smart, it's so clever, it will create problems in your life to fix them so that you go, oh, that's my savior. My mind always saves me. But it created the problems to be your savior, you know?
Yeah, it felt like this huge, just like releasing of shackles that were on me.
I can't wait to hear these comments.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear what people, like, what their story behind these were.
Yeah, it felt a lot. It started really around the relationships of, I don't want the relationship I saw. For me, it felt the mother. I don't want the relationship my mother was in. I don't want to be trapped like her. I don't want to be indebted to money. I don't want to have to work a job for money. I don't want to have to do something for money. And so is this like finding an alternative, which came from a really pure place of like, I want to do it a different way, moksha, but then this like, so then what's the right way? Like, there has to be a right way. When am I going to get on the path of the right way?
Yeah.
And this like thirst for belonging, this thirst for like, I'm doing it right. Like, am I doing this right? And like you said, no one is.
No one is.
Just being comfortable in that unknown. It's like, we have no idea.
Even in your studio here, which is an amazing studio, as you walk up the staircase, there's like every iconic person, Nelson Mandela, Princess Diana, Mother Teresa, all of them. They're incredible. They're iconic. They'll be remembered. Look at Princess Diana, for example, shy, insecure, scared, terrified that she's not doing it right. So we look at people and just realize, like, you have to realize that there's the most powerful people in the world, because they're ruled by mind, are still going through all these things that you're going through.
Absolutely.
So give it up.
There is no right. Who had it right? At what point was it right?
Yeah.
It just was.
Yeah, it just was.
I feel it's like what I was tuning into was this like fear of, but it will be worse if I try.
That's my thing. Honestly, what you just said is like my thing. Because I don't claim to be fully liberated. I mean, I'm still watching the ego. So that means it's still there. It's not dissolved. It's so quiet. It's very tame. It doesn't get in my way at all. I'm very like in tune with that, but it's not gone. It's not fully gone. It's almost impossible at this point for me to plan things. Like I can't plan. If people are like, are you available? I'll go months before responding because my that part of my mind is so tame. But that little part of it that's sticking on is what you said. Is like, but what if I'm not going to do it right?
Yeah. And I feel like this clearing helped just release like there is no right, because this fight for it being right. Like I remember in my medicine journey, it showed me how like I and so many of us, it's like little kids looking to our parents for that tap on the head, that approval. Am I on the right path? Am I doing it right? And it's like, no, even they don't know. No one really knows. And just like letting that be. And instead of that feeling uncomfortable, which that uncomfortable feeling leads us to then finding a relationship, finding a religion, finding a something to give us the path. And it's like, maybe the path is no path. The path changes all the time. It's just it's a maze.
Yeah. And just witness it.
Because where are we going?
I have to just share this one last thing too. So I'm writing a book right now. I wrote a book, sorry. I finished it 5 years ago. I have an Oracle deck that's been published. I'm writing now my third book that will be published. But this second one, it was a fiction book. Nobody's asking me for fiction, right? They all want like the spiritual books. But I wanted to write this story. I wrote it and it's been sitting on a shelf. I didn't even pitch it. In this silence that I created, this space that I created, immediately my mind was like, what do we fill it with? Well, you created this space, let's fill it with something. And I heard so clearly, do nothing. Do nothing. Just sit in the space, be in it. A couple of weeks later, I get a call from one of the top 3 publishers in the world being like, hey, you wrote a book that we heard about and we think it'd be a great TV show. We'd love to publish your book. And so now they're publishing the book. And I don't know if I'm not going to say that because I don't know if I'm allowed to yet. So I'm not going to say it. Through my friends who own a TV production company who I told about it 4 or 5 years ago, who had the whole manuscript. And so now they're working together to make it like this publisher will publish it and then the studio will make it into a show that, hopefully gets sold. We never know. This is Hollywood, right? Like things get packaged every day. But it's still interesting that with no agent, I don't have an agent right now. I don't have I'm just sitting there in the space that I created and they're like, hey, that book that you wrote 5 years ago, it's like one of the biggest publishers in the world. So that's what I'm saying. Like when people think like that I say these things, they think I'm saying like, go and do nothing. No, do it. But just let spirit do it. Yeah.
Trust the timing of it. And like, maybe if you went to go rewrite that book, it wouldn't have been the same. It wouldn't have been that original transmission that we say things. I feel like we all have these genius ideas, then we edit them down. Like, oh, it couldn't have been that. It couldn't have been that simple. It has to be better. And then we redo. And then it's like, no, just let it be. And then like, let it live. And and there's a paradox. Sometimes the lesson is like, okay, I'm going to go out there and publish the book and go against, and sometimes it's like, it's just not the timing. I'm not feeling the wave of the energy of this book. And maybe one day I will, and maybe one day I won't. And it was just about me writing it.
Exactly. And that's where I thought it was. I was like, okay, I wrote it. Maybe there was something that needed to be expressed and it got expressed. Great. And then here we are. So yeah, like spirit, that's why, when I start, I say, I don't, spirit, you sent me. So you tell me what to clear.
Yes. That's why I didn't even want to come in because I had no idea it was going to be this. Like, I'm like, I don't know, sharing your voice on stage. Like, that's what they always ask me about. But no, it's always the deeper things of why. And I think even that deeper feeling of like, I'm not doing it right translates to not feeling comfortable speaking on stage, feeling not comfortable taking up space because we're always thinking, I am not right. I am not deserving. I am not belonging. And even the thing you said about shame, because we talked a little bit about like, I see shame a lot more in the masculine than I see in the feminine. I see it's the feminine. We operate a lot more from guilt, which is like, my parents want this, my partner wants this, my kids want this, so I need to do that. Whereas shame is more like, I'm bad. Yeah. But the shame that I picked up on was this like, I'm ugly. Like if they really saw me, I'm ugly. Like I'm not. And I feel that's a lot of what the feminine deals with.
And I think why you're so powerful and people resonate, especially women, is because you talk a lot about when women do have shame, it's usually around sex or sexuality
Yes.
or showing themselves or being pretty, right? Actually, I clear that broadcast from a lot of women of like not wanting to be attractive.
Because it's unsafe. It can be very unsafe to be attractive in the kind of attention that we get. So we're like, it's this dichotomy we have of like, we want to be beautiful and then we get a lot of attention that oftentimes is shadowy and dark and perverse. So then we put on the mask and we put on the layers and the armor and then we're like, I don't feel loved. I don't feel seen. I don't feel sparkly. And it's like, you know, if I came out walking on this in Skid Row, I would attract unwanted energy. So it's like, as the feminine, that's why in priestess culture, they wore cloaks. If they were not in temple space, they cloaked that shit up energetically, you know? And it's like, we have to sometimes walk through the space. Like sometimes when I go to a event or something, I have to remind myself like, okay, like put the crown on energetically, let yourself be seen. But then when I leave, it's like, take the crown off, put the veil on, cloak it up, you know?
Yeah. And it's interesting that you said men have the shame more because that was my root cause of everything. And I actually didn't know that that was like a masculine thing. But as you described it, I'm like, yeah, you're right. It is.
Well, and this could be a whole other conversation, but in a lot of deep talks I've had with a lot of men, like the core thing is them hating themselves. Like,
dang.
I'm a piece of shit. And if you really knew me, you wouldn't want to be with me. And that's the core cause of why so many of them are avoided. And why so many of them, when you're interested in them, they lose interest in you because they think,
why would she like me?
If she likes me, something must be wrong with her because I'm fucked. So if you like me, you've got problems. If you don't like me, oh, you must know what's going on.
See, this is so wild because when I work with people, I'm always like, don't tell me the story unless you need
This
to.
is the story.
So that's crazy.
Because I'm very in the real situations and it's that. Whereas for the feminine, it's I'm too much. For the masculines, I'm not enough. She's going to know I'm not successful enough. I'm not man enough. I can't handle. I'm just not enough. So let me hide. And if it's like, let me play dead. And if I play dead, then she won't even want anything from me. She'll find someone better for her. But if every man is doing that, who is the better? And there are, you know, small pockets of conscious men rising up and, you know, really being the embodied masculine, but it's few and far between still. Whereas for the feminine, the deep cause I see is like, I'm too much. I'm too loud. I'm too expressive. I'm too emotive. I'm too this. I'm too that. If he really
because
knew,
he's pulling away, so then she's thinking I'm doing too much.
So I have to limit.
So both of them are just like,
yeah. So women are like, okay, I got to be hard to get. Okay, I have to wait longer to text him. Oh my God, I can't tell him how I really feel. Oh my God, I can't really share how much I love him, like, because it's gonna scare him. But then the masculine feels. She doesn't even love me.
guys,
She doesn't
the
even
mind
care.
is nuts.
It's this.
That's what I'm saying.
But I don't think it's, to me, I guess the difference, and it could be semantics, is I don't see that as the mind. I really see this as like deeper in the heart. And
No, you're right. It's emotion.
Yeah,
it's emotion.
It's emotion.
And that's why I'm clearing like shame, guilt, because it's emotion.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right.
And it's ultimately, we all want to be loved and seen for who we are. And the masculine fear of, if you really saw me, you wouldn't love me. And if the feminine, if you saw all of me, you wouldn't love me. But really the spaciousness in the masculine, like you talked about, you create all the spaciousness in you, it wants to be filled with Shakti. It wants to be filled with all. So her allotness was created for that reason. And even in same-sex relationship, there's always that dance that's
for
happening.
Sure. It's still masculine, feminine.
Yeah, and sometimes you switch. Even in heterosexual
Exactly.
couples, sometimes you switch.
Yeah.
But we're so afraid of being rejected and being unloved that we're going into our own corners.
Oh. So instead of like this beautiful dance, it becomes like such a structured, like, you know, weird, awkward dance.
Yeah, and like, okay, I guess I got to hold all of myself. But she's like a waterfall, and he's like, okay, I guess I got to hold on myself. And he's like, this dry, vast desert. But it's like the waterfall's meant to go into the desert. They're meant to create mud and civilization and life with it.
You know what's crazy about about guilt that you brought up? For the women listening, what guilt does is it makes, for the ego, it makes linear time real. Because you're always seeing the past because of the guilt. So your mind is constantly showing you the past. So how can you be present when the mind is constantly showing you the past? Like, where if I interrupt you right now and all of a sudden I think about a comment of like, oh, that person said I interrupt a lot. Like, my mind is constantly showing me the past. Right. So that's that. And then it makes you see the future also, the linear, that's why it's linear, the future, because, well, there must be a future to atone for the past. So guilt is literally the ego's most powerful weapon to hold up, keeping you from being present. And then the other thing it does is it projects God or goddess outward, because there must be something to punish me. I'm guilty, so there must be something to punish me. And then we project onto that creator all the personality traits of our parents. And well, it must be mad at me. It must be, and it's none of those things. Like one of the lines that I love from Course in Miracles, it says, God has never condemned you. So there's nothing, he doesn't forgive because he doesn't condemn.
I love that so much. And yeah, that guilt is, they know better than me.
Yeah.
And if they don't like me, I'll be left. And so it's like the guilt of being there for my parents, be there for my friends, be there for everyone except not be there for myself, because I'm unworthy of being there for myself. But I need to be worthy of being with them so they continue to like
and
me.
so I
And
won't
it's
be
like that
punished.
people pleaser. Exactly.
Yeah.
So many deep webs, and we gotta do a third one now. We gotta do a third one. So where can listeners learn from you, connect with you, and check out your work and energy clearing?
So if they want to just book with me, which right now it's like literally into February, and we're recording this in September, so it's usually about 4 to 6 months. But if they want to work with me on an energy clearing, it's just frankelaridi.com or on Instagram. And then if they want to learn to be healers and tap into their intuition, build their brand, it's awakenedhealers.com.
Beautiful. We'll have those links in the show notes. Wow. I am so curious. Please comment below what you felt. Like, give us timestamps, because that was really helpful in the last one.
Yeah.
Like timestamps at this moment, I felt this, when she said this, when he said that. We're really curious because this is a work in progress that we're co-creating with you. Are you feeling it? Is it impacting you? Was I tuning into you? Was he answering the questions that need you? I'm really curious what your experience of this was. So please share the comments on YouTube. That's the best place we can see all of the comments. If you're not on YouTube, you're just listening to this, go on youtube.com/SaharaRose. That's where you can find it. So we're super, super excited to see that all. And let us know what other topics you'd like us to get into in future conversations. Be sure to subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast. I'm so grateful to have you here, and I'll see you in the next one.
Trust your intuition, trust your inner wisdom, trust your inner guidance. Close your eyes and listen. Surrender, let go. Surrender, let go. So trust your intuition, trust your inner wisdom, trust your inner guidance. Close your